Yes. It was really good. I thought it was really funny. There was a lot of people laughing in the theater that were adults.
Did you see the Batman one?
Yeah.
Was that good?
Yeah, it was alright. I mean, I liked it when I watched it. I can't really remember it now. I thought it was more entertaining than I thought it would be.
Okay. Batman one or
Lego. Batman.
I like the first part of the Batman one.
Yeah, I agree with
But this, I liked it. My only issue with the Lego Ninjago movie is, like, when they got to the plots, not plot, but like the
Main storyline.
like the moral of the story time. Like, it's like, oh, this is like how you're supposed to feel. We're telling a message. It's kind of the start of the drag, and it's like, all right, it's heavy-handed. I get it. It's for kids. Move it along.
Nobody wants to be one.
So,
Yeah,
I get
well,
it.
you know, like the Lego movie, the message was neat and it was just timely. But like every Lego movie doesn't need to copy that formula.
They all do. They all have like a heavy-handed message because it's for kids.
I see Batman was
the
fringe.
Batman one was pretty.
I mean, they're about to do the next Lego movie they ever announced. It's about like gender equality or something like that. So they already know the plot.
Lego gender equality? Like what's the what's the theme?
I guess.
Girls Rock 2 or something.
Yeah, so it's gonna be. I mean, they've already announced it, and people are upset. There's a bunch of like men rights activists, and we're like, oh, I remember when Legos were just about toys.
The red
yeah,
pill
right,
kinda
whatever.
guys.
So, anyways, those are. So help yourself to fudge, those bread rolls, those pineapple things, and
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom to set
I'm already set up.
Or we can look at.
Oh yeah, what are those?
Those are things that I've took on my shelf. I'm probably going to toss the power loader one because it is actually broken.
Wait, are you gonna toss?
I haven't decided about that. Actually, inside the base of that alien thing is the first 4 movies. The only 4 movies, I should say. Actually, okay. There's 2 AVP movies, but there's 4 alien movies in there.
I only have the Blu-ray. Is it Blu-ray?
I've never seen it.
The one that comes in like the glittery, reflective casing with all the Ridley Scott commentaries.
I mean, that has all the.
Yeah, I've never seen Alien.
You haven't seen? Have you seen Alien?
Yeah, I own Alien.
Have you seen Alien 3? Seen Alien Resurrection?
I've seen parts of them, but I've seen Prometheus.
I'm sorry.
I didn't mind Prometheus.
You don't mind it if you're okay if it's for a movie with stupid people and a movie that's not about Alien.
I was hoping.
I love origin stories.
Yes, but that's if they're good.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but like at the same time,
I was very hopeful for the next one, and then I haven't seen the next one.
I haven't seen the next one either. Maybe we
You
should have a Covenant next.
No.
I was gonna say
It's awful. It's awful.
Let me know what you're gonna do with this.
I mean, if I get rid of it, I'll at least keep the movies because those are at least the 4 good movies.
I think
They haven't made really a
Blade
combination.
Runner's playing,
But
But no one wants to see Blade Runner, so I guess it's me by
I
myself.
think.
if I saw Blade Runner, it just wouldn't be like night of or Thursday night or
Wait,
like.
where's the?
Well, I said even that weekend.
Where's the?
I don't even.
The Majestic.
Yeah, when you say Majestic.
That's Silver Spring, the theater right here.
Just by the
Oh,
Goldstone?
I just called the Regal.
It's
Oh.
called Majestic.
I did not know that. I'll go see it. That was October 6th week?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's my favorite.
yeah.
But then we have to go get delicious tasty pie
Oh yeah.
Pie things?
or
Have you ever been
Mexican
to
margaritas.
Dangerously Delicious?
Unfortunately, yes.
You don't like it?
I've only been there once, and I picked up like a chicken pot pie. I didn't care for it. I don't like chicken pot pie to begin with.
Oh, well, that's
But like,
probably it. We figured it out. No,
Does-
but we were talking about cook because they have one now.
you
now
didn't bring
at a
any
place.
like notebook or paper to write anything down, did you?
Yes, I did.
I mean, we've been.
I have a phone. I'm sorry. I was just so excited about like playing that I just didn't even think about like supplies.
Actually, what the game entails?
Yeah.
Well, I have
I have
2% battery, so.
I have a pen. I have a pen. Do you have any like scratch paper?
Here you go, Brian.
This is all.
What
Adam's
have you?
fault.
What is it my fault?
No,
you guys.
Abby.
Oh, I thought you said
No,
Adam's
you're
fault.
good, you're good. No,
No, it's my fault.
you're being perfectly
Sorry.
good. No, I realized that when I was walking too.
I was thinking, it's like, I
We
wonder if they're
realized
gonna
so
bring
much
anything.
stuff walking.
And then I went to my apartment and I was like, oh yeah, I should have grabbed my notebook when I was there.
Yeah, we went to his apartment to pick up the Cold Stone birth certificate. We didn't take it.
My 5-year-old cold stone card. Like,
No.
Sorry, Adam. What
Yeah.
are you doing that weekend? The weekend that Blade Runner is out.
It is that weekend.
it's that long weekend.
Six,
If
seven,
you have
eight?
a day off. Which you might
I'm like, oh, yeah, it is crazy. We're like booked until December. Like,
What, you and Beth? Or
Did-
at work?
just Beth and I at
Yours
work.
is so
Actually, no. That's so, but it's like this alternating. Like, she has busy plans one weekend, I have busy plans. So I actually have nothing planned 6 or 7. I do have library board games on the 8th.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
remember I said it was on the Sunday.
That's Monday,
The 8th is Monday?
8th is a Sunday.
right? Oh, so 7th, 8th, 9th. Okay.
So 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, well, if you
so
want to hang out that weekend, we'll probably be doing food ventures into the city. If you would like to.
Mexican brunch and margaritas.
Yeah.
I'm a little.
Possibly.
I'm not exactly the biggest on Mexican food.
Well, would you want to come with us to the pie place? You know, there's a restaurant on H Street that's called Mythology Restaurant, and all the dishes in the interior are based on like old school, like Greek, Roman myths. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So, where's the newspaper? What is the setup?
This is the latest.
Is
So
this Mystery 7 or Mystery 8?
this is 7.
Oh, that's not as far as we thought we were.
I'm not gonna use it.
Well,
10 or is
there
it
are a
9
total of 9.
Okay,
There,
so
there,
9.
there are a total of 8.
What do you want?
All right, so these are old ones.
Oh, okay.
That is the latest one. The year is 1937, so do not flip it over. But there are a total of 8 mysteries plus 1 bonus mystery. Apparently, the bonus mystery is a really long one.
You thought that there were 10.
Yeah, I thought there was
I
2,
thought there was 8.
but there's 8, but a bonus.
Okay, well, Ryan was right. I thought there were 10.
So, the name of this one is called The Vanished Girl.
Oh wow, I can guess what news story is related to this already.
All right, this is Investigation 7. It's in Arkham, Massachusetts. May 2nd, 1937.
My sister's birthday. Oh wow.
So
Guess
your
who vanished?
sisters... Those are all the old
It's my
newspapers.
sister's
but-
negative
related.
75th birthday.
All right, Armitage greets you at his door. Sorry, it looked like you were tossing me something. All right, Armitage greets you at his door. His eyes are red-rimmed, and his high forehead is flushed and splotchy. Behind him stands another man, tall and handsome, but dressed in a threadbare suit that fits him poorly. He looks like he's been crying for days. Come in, Armitage says, gesturing you into his study. Sorry, that's not what Armitage sounds like. Have a seat. The other man sits down in the armchair across from you. Simultaneously, both he and Armitage take out their handkerchiefs and dab their reddened eyes. In the past, Armitage begins, I have had to harden my heart and steel my reserve. This particular case, however, has affected me deeply. This gentleman is John Baxter. And then you write that down.
With an H.
Baxter, but yes, Jonathan H. He has been employed in the library for several years, and he's become well acquainted. John Baxter nods. You may have heard about the child disappearances that have plagued Arkham for years? ? John's daughter, Christine, vanished from their home 2 days ago. Christine was reading her favorite book in her room upstairs, and when Laura, John's wife, went up to check on her that evening, she vanished, along with her yellow overcoat and her favorite dog. Following Christine's disappearance, Laura's mind cracked immediately. So devastated, she was not even able to help look for her own child, and Laura has been in a catatonic state since. She's now in the sanitarium. Detective Garrison thinks Christine was taken via an open window in her room. The police have documented files on child disappearances dating back many years. Disappearances occurring at the end of April. I expect that May space Eve, those are 2 names, dash, alright, stay with me here, Walpurgis Night.
Yeah, Walpurgis Night.
WALPUR
thing that's always in anime.
GISNACHT.
Yep.
Holds some significance. To our knowledge, none of the previous year's children have been found, and John and Laura, well aware of the history, feel hopeless. Although John will not give up. If we can find Christine alive, we most certainly will. We most certainly will, and I feel that is very possible. Armitage looks sadly over at John Baxter, who bows his head, folds his hands, and stifles a whimper of utter grief. He walks John out the door and turns to you. We shall not give up on this girl. I know with careful analysis we can figure out who is doing this. And something tells me that perhaps there is a simple explanation. If there are no surprises, I tend to find this solution quickly. The longer this girl is missing, the more difficult it will be to recover her. I forgot to read the preface of this, but that's the story. You'll be using requirement cards, blah, blah, blah. We already did that. At the end of some encounters, you will be given the opportunity to follow a person of interest to your investigation. If you choose to follow, you simply turn to the pursuit section of the investigation and read the next quote, underlined, unread pursuit encounter. So let's keep track of the pursuit encounters. Pursuit encounters in Investigation 7 are presented in order. Instructions are also printed on the pursuit encounters page. Okay. Each time players pursue, they will read exactly one, underlined on one, pursuit encounter. Players usually will have the choice whether or not to pursue or not. I don't know why whether or not to pursue or not. Anyways, in summary, when players encounter pursuit text, it will instruct a player to turn to the pursuit section, page 145, and read the next unread pursuit encounter. Bolded, be sure not to peek ahead at the next pursuit encounter! Exclamation mark. The first time players pursue, they will read pursuit encounter 1, the second time 2, and so on. Note there are only 6 encounters in the pursuit section. If you read all 6, you may not pursue the suspect again in the investigation. The pursuit text within the encounters looks like this. It's really big. You may pursue if you pursue turn to... It's
pretty easy.
Yeah. Investigation complexity. Armitage is rather emotional about the missing girl. I do not say so much in front of John, because hope can be a double-edged sword. But I think there may be a simple explanation why this girl is missing. If so, we may very well get her back alive and well. It may have nothing to do with other missing children. This is just a feeling. I readily admit, but I always learn to trust my instincts. That said, I expect a full resolution of this case by day 4 morning.
How long do we have?
Day 4 morning.
That's not a lot.
That is, yeah.
That's pretty intense.
Is that the least we had so far?
I think so.
Sounds like
For a
it.
while.
Day 4 morning, and
We're gonna fuck up.
So, I would let Brett start.
So relevant newspaper articles.
Oh yeah, Brett, read the newspaper stuff.
Police vexed by May Eve disappearances. Arkham police are investigating the disappearances of 3 children. That's a typo. Christine Baxter, 8, who was reading in her room when she vanished. Lad Islis Woljeko, boy age 2. Adelaide Klein, girl age 4, who went missing from her backyard while playing with other children. Woljeko's child disappeared from Oran's Gangway tenements. Christine's father offered this comment. Christine is the world to my wife, Laura, and me. We are asking anyone who has seen Christine or any of the other children to please come forward. A source close to the family reports that the stress of Christine's disappearance has had a negative consequence on our mother Laura's health. Arkham has had a history of disappearances around May Eve or Walpurgis night, going back several years. The second relevant article is a to-the-letter editor. For too long, the citizens of Arkham have been complacent and allowed dangerous social organizations to go unchecked in our fair city. Under the guise of mere gathering places, organizations like the Freemasons and the Order of Silver Twilight have operated in secret and are given the freedom to do so. Any questions about the clandestine going-ons of these organizations are met with accusations of paranoia and laughter. The Freemasons hold secret ceremonies and can only through a current member can one be considered for membership. The Order of Silver Twilight is even more mysterious. I happened to live near their lodge and heard strange sounds and lights this past May Eve. I would be interested to see if the Order's presence has coincided with some of the odd events that have plagued their town for years. I strongly recommend the concerned citizens of the town that the police launch a full investigation to these organizations and make them accountable for their actions. The only other two things I'd like to point out, there's an article about bad dreams plaguing Arkham residents, and of course we had that dreamscape thing a few mysteries ago. And the thought for the day, because for some reason these things always become relevant after the mystery is in, the one who follows the crowd will get no further than the crowd.
So don't be a sheep.
Yeah.
Missing pet, you think? I mean,
Where does Baxter's live?
that's a good question.
Oh, directory one.
The big directory man. Also, the local school's having a play, Tobacco Road.
Tobacco Road.
I mean, back then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm going to say let's go to F-27.
Sure.
Fine.
Does anybody have any other?
Nah, you're the
ideas?
first one that
Yeah, but
goes.
that's
So.
what I was going to say.
I mean, why not go to the scene of the crime?
Yeah.
Well, we'll figure out why not when we get there.
Well, once we get there, yeah.
Mr. Baxter isn't home. This is F-27, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you instead speak with a police officer who has been stationed at the house, in case Christine returns. He greets you and lets you in the building. You make your way to the kitchen first, where you see a report card for C. I guess Christine. Oh, sorry. It was C. Baxter. It looked like a C with a period. Anyways. Christine was a star student. There is also a business card for Heather Hathaway, quote-unquote, psychic. You proceed upstairs to Christine's bedroom. The bedroom window is open. You test the window trellis by leaning out and stepping on the slat. Who's doing that?
Sure. I got it. No, it's no problem.
You hear creaking as the bolts loosen from the walls and realize the trellis couldn't have been used by an adult. The halls leading to the study are lined with portraits. You grab a picture of Christine wearing a yellow coat and secret it away. The remaining two portraits contain twins, one set of men, another of women.
Oh.
You make a note to speak with Dorothy Davis at the Arkham Historical Society.
Wow, they know that we don't have enough time, so they're just telling us.
They're like, here, this stuff. All right.
I'm wondering who the twins are, yeah.
You enter the study and are confronted with an astounding collection of books. At first, none of them stand out, but you arrive at an older volume with a faded cover. You remove a book from the shelf and see that it's an annotated guide to arcane knowledge. You can't read the title. The Baxters were interested in knowledge that many families would forbid. Scrawled in the forward pages in bad handwriting is this passage. If it's bad handwriting, could you really read it? Anyways. ... The blind cosmos grinds aimlessly on from nothing to something and from something back to nothing again, neither heeding nor knowing the wishes or existence of the minds that flicker for a second now and then in darkness. Take requirement card 6.
Show us.
How do you spell Hathaway?
Half away.
E-way or A-way?
A-way.
Because there's both.
Heather Hathaway.
Well, the N Hathaway and W Hathaway.
Well, the psychic bit, though, right?
The errata is only about taking a certain requirement card and the scoring.
Wait,
I-
so requirement card 4? That was 6.
Shh. I'm going to say the numbers were out of order.
Certainly.
See, here's 6. It's totally out of order.
Oh, wait, what is this 6? Oh, it doesn't matter, does it?
Now you're just
I mean-
saying
I thought there
that-
was a bat, and then I forgot there's no bat.
They do look identical, except
They're
for...
the same.
Except for the number. That
Anyways.
says 6.
Yeah. Okay, well, I want to go to... I think I'll just go to the records lady anyways, though, so it's not like there's a choice.
Hathaway?
Doris.
No, Hathaway's the psychic.
No,
Doris,
yes, you're
what's
right.
her
You're
name?
correct.
Dorothy Davis.
Yeah, what place is Dorothy Davis? Well, that thing has it
Historical
too.
Society.
Arkham Historical Society.
Oh, do you want that or do you want Hercules?
That is up to
Historical Society.
That's Brett.
Yeah, I like the historical society.
Well, her home is F49.
Wow, let's not go there.
Mhm.
Which is under something.
I feel like the back of this has that. Anyways, wasn't there like a guide to all the cheap people we could do?
Yes, this is the cheat people.
Yeah,
Arlo, Dorothy Davis, L1.
sure.
That's the Historical Societies.
That's where we find Dorothy Davis.
All right.
Sure.
It's okay, because I'm going.
Dorothy Davis has knowledge of family history that Professor Robinson lacks.
You tell Dorothy about your investigation and mention that you're looking into the Baxter family history. Well, let me see. And she crosses the room to the genealogical section. It doesn't take her long to pull a volume off the shelf and open it. There's a small record of the Baxter family here. John Baxter's father, Edwin, had a brother, Albert, who was born on the same day as him, September 5th, 1870. They must have been twins. Here's Laura Baxter. She is a descendant of the Mason family that came over from Europe. The records show that Laura's mother, Andrea, also had a twin, Abigail, both born on July 31st, 1873. You thank Dorothy for her time. She says as you take your leave, more recent records at the town hall, if that's useful.
That was it?
Yeah. Starting to think the thought of the day may be applicable here. They're just going to keep on giving us hints, and we're just going to keep on following hints instead of doing something random.
We still haven't had a pursue.
We have not.
All right,
So-
Brian, where are you taking us? And the evening time of day one.
Yeah, we have Pathway, and then also we can ping the Order of Silver Twilight too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that. At the well, I don't know which chapter that is.
That's true. You haven't found Psychic.
A psychic, yeah.
Yeah, it just said psychic, quote unquote. There might have been italics on it, but I don't think that matters.
There's also, she's at the sanitarium, but what?
Yeah, Laura.
She is
Crazy.
Or Hashi.
Dun dun
she's
dun!
comatose. So
I mean, no more crazy. Catatonic, not comatose.
same good.
Is it?
They both fainted.
Ice cream? What's he say?
I'm getting my ice cream right now.
Okay, so where's the,
So the Twilight guy.
Order of the Silver Twilight is L18.
Well, there's two guys, right?
All right.
Is he the mole?
No, Pascal Fenton at L4 is.
He's not the mole.
No, not the mole.
Sebastian Lyman is a member of the Order of the Silver
Yep.
Twilight, but he's also a mole.
He's a mole.
L18.
L18. Okay. So I know there's also. But that may have just been the
Pascal.
first mystery, because the first mystery had we could find the boss at a diner.
Yeah.
There's also a speakeasy in 4. Nice.
Ooh. So nice.
I wonder if they have a good brunch or happy hour.
This is olden times, so probably not.
Well, I think that's disappointing.
Well, it can be.
L18?
Yeah.
Well,
Really.
Is it long?
Sebastian Lyman is slow in responding to your nod, but eventually answers, looking the worse for the wear. I know why you're here, but Sanford isn't involved in any of the unpleasantness. I can also assure you none of the lodge members know anything. Rumor has it that some of these weird events are connected, though. Take the boy, Gilman, who died at the witch house. There's something strange about that for sure. When you ask Lyman about his obviously buried stay here spies, the order has its own celebration on Walpurgis Eve. I'm still recovering.
So this just became applicable. Student dies from animal attack. Police are looking into a suspected animal attack at the witch house. Walter Gilman, a student at the Miskatonic University, was pronounced dead at the scene. An officer with the Arkham Police said it appears as though Mr. Gilman was the victim of a vicious animal attack. They aren't prepared to say more at this point. The witch house has long been rumored to be the site of several strange occurrences, and residents have complained in the past of a real problem with rodents. Arrangements for Mr. Gilman's funeral have not yet been made.
Alright, so let's all go to the witch house.
Witches.
Or is that following the sheep?
I don't know. We're all following the sheep.
Alright, where's the witch house?
It's somewhere in.
Yeah.
I think it's like
I've
in
gone one of these.
2019.
Wasn't the witch house like that stupid
Yeah,
thing we had to find?
It's like right around there.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we're falling into the trap.
F11, never mind.
Oh, do you think I should not go?
I mean, it's up to you if you don't have any other leads, but I feel
Yeah, it may just be terrible.
your word of the day or thought of the day of like following is kind of like we're falling into like every time they mention some place, let's go there.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, so
But,
we
I
don't
mean,
want to go to town hall, and we don't want to go to the witch house, and we can't find any psychics. So where are the usual places we don't
Gars? I mean, don't go.
go? Yeah, but we don't go, and then at the end it's like the first place on which we went was this random ass house that we should have thought of, but never. Like, should we go to the cabbie? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm thinking.
That is D34. We can go to the sanatorium if you want to talk to Canatonic.
I feel like we're not going to be talking to her. We're just going to be like, yeah,
Where'd
she
she
got a
go?
tonic.
Ambrose Checkley.
Who's that?
He's a notorious gossip hound and high society mogul, and is
Yeah.
eager to share
They're
any
poor.
tawdry stories he comes across.
They poor. They're not high
There's a
society.
speakeasy.
Maybe the gossip hound?
Oh no! If we want to do that, like do the police, but like even then.
Okay, well,
Garrett's-
let's think about the clues. Like, an adult couldn't get down or up the trellis, so she either
But
went.
it's something connected to the witch house. Maybe.
You think a bunch of rats like climbed up and grabbed her, and then all the rats carried her.
Why rats?
Obviously.
Because it said there was a rodent problem at the witch house.
That makes so much
It's
sense.
scary.
Should we go to like a date there, talking to some kids?
I don't think you. What? I'm surprised you haven't.
I'm almost
suggested
tempted to
on
go to these
Visit Iowa.
other disappeared. Yeah, I know. We could go to these other disappeared kids, but I don't think they're linked.
Who was the most recent disappeared kid?
They all disappeared
girl.
on May Day. No,
Baxter's
they all
daughter.
disappeared on the same day. These 3 kids disappeared on May Eve.
This plot is very similar to it. Like the town was like chill with the kids and couldn't disappear.
The Arkham Advertiser has its finger on the pulse of this town, and Donnie Clark is its star reporter. He has zeal for grabbing people's attention, seeks the truth, insofar as it can be found.
What to
Feel
do?
like we are like more than halfway done with this game, and there are so many of these people we've never gone to and never mentioned ever.
We didn't need them in the first.
Nope, except for the taxi. It's nighttime right now, so we have a little time before the morning.
What about like the criminologist?
I feel
Tell
like
him about like crime
this is gonna be supernatural though, because like I bet there's some sort of spirit that like grabbed her out of the window.
I feel like this is going to be the one that's not supernatural.
I mean, should we talk to Pasquale?
He's just gonna be smug at us again.
Pascal?
It's pronounced Pasquale. I don't want to. I feel like we shouldn't do the like explicit clues that they're giving us, because then we're just gonna end up like in the same place we would have been regardless. Like the quote. I think-
Is there? Well, I mean, you're in full control, so you can go. You can take us wherever you want to in the morning.
Well, that's the thing is like I don't know what. I'm trying to remember like what were the places we never went that he always went that were good.
I feel like
Well,
they're all.
he always went to
context.
Dorothy all the time, or the town hall or something like
Did
that.
we go? Wait.
We did Dorothy. We didn't do the town hall.
Because
Arkham
they
Town Hall,
specifically said
D21.
town hall.
But he always did. For some reason, that was always the random one to me that he always went to. It's
Nicholas-
like he went to some town hall person. And they found some fucking record about someone's genealogy.
Nicholas Stelzen is one of the most overworked civil servants in public service. He is the keeper of various legal documents, such as birth, marriage, and death certificates, as well as deeds to local property. That's D21. There's also William Coffin, shady fellow, but some of your investigations may take you on to some unsavory places he will know something about. He is at Fleetwood Diner, so often you would think he might live there. Coffin has his fingers in a lot of pies, so to speak. He will gladly give you information for the right price.
What number?
That is D2.
No.
You are going to the diner.
Come on.
Which guy? Fleetwood?
Yeah.
That's what you want.
It is somewhere over there. Not that much. All right, you're going to D2.
I bet there's
I bet there's nothing.
what?
There's nothing? Or just like a sentence? All right.
House rule.
Yes, you're allowed to mulligan that.
Let's just go to town hall. What's town hall?
D21. So we just add a 1 to it.
This whole,
No,
That's where you
difference.
really meant to go.
yes. It's perfect. So no one looks at our notes.
Town hall. D21. Still don't have this.
Nicholas Saltonstall frowns and sees you, but his face lights up and you ask him questions. He disappears into the record room and returns a few moments later, a look of satisfaction on his face. Finally, someone comes and asks for something interesting. All day long, I'm looking up stupid zoning ordinances and rules on allowing pets into buildings. Who cares? To be honest, it looks like someone didn't do his job correctly back, 8 years ago? You see, the hospital records for the Baxter child's birth are only partially filled out. Also, I can't tell if the child's name is Christine or Catherine. In fact, the records are such a mess, it is recorded here that there were 2 children.
Twins.
But it's most likely a mistake. The hospital makes a lot of errors, and that's not saying much. The clerks there are notoriously lazy.
So they have twins, and they threw one in the attic, and they got rid of it when it was bad, and had the other one, but this one went bad too, so they ran out. So they should have triplets.
Not twins, though. They go bad so quickly.
Oops.
So, hospital? Which
Maybe
hospital?
The hospital here?
Yeah, but we did, why? Why is twins significant? Clear, look, the parents
Well, we know
of
twins are significant.
the grandparents of the twins were twins.
Well, there's pictures
But the parents were not
of
twins.
male and female twins.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The
But we
moms,
don't
the
know.
moms.
That they weren't twins.
Yes, we do. The
Really?
town record lady said that the parents of the mother of the mom was twins. The father of the dad was twins.
Okay. Oh, so that was... But how do we know that?
We read that. People wrote this down. Did someone write this down?
Yeah, I did.
To tell them.
Yes.
What are the names of the twins? What are you read birth dates even?
John and Laura's parents.
Yeah. John and Laura's parents were twins.
But it doesn't say if John and Laura were.
But they're not.
Yeah.
They're not twins.
But they had twins.
But
Yes.
they were children of twins.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe John and Laura have twins too.
So it skips a generation.
It either skips generation or John and Laura did some stuff too.
Or are they really not Joe and Laura?
Laura. Lana.
Now we have to think, where do you want to go?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if we went to the hospital, they'd just be like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, we need to figure out the mystic why.
We need to figure out why they would hide that they had twins.
We didn't get a requirement card, so
So there's the hospital.
there's the witch house.
And there's the witch house.
And the
And
police,
The
there's
guy said-
theoretically a psychic.
you can go to PlayStation. Not PlayStation, police station.
If we had PlayStations, we'd be rich in this era.
Wow, how would we be rich?
It's just magical technology.
Oh.
Sell it to the government. They would be all over getting chips early. In the middle of the war, they'd be down.
And there's still the same thing.
So it's like the sanitarium, the witch house, the hospital.
And I don't know where to find this. It was Heather Hathaway, right?
Heather
Yeah.
Hathaway. It's like
There's 2 other Hathaways.
Maybe one of them is her husband or her father.
way to get into the arrows mindset.
All right.
Maybe Heather is her psychic name.
I was thinking that for a second. I was like,
I'm curious
superstition?
if we go to the sanitarium, if having this cool little requirement card might jog her memory and might wake her up.
Alright, let's give it.
I mean, I'm kind of like Anna too,
idea.
but you are in charge of the
I
ship,
am.
Adam.
I'm trying to.
You can strike
outside
out.
of like the police station. What other?
The library.
I don't know.
I'm going to the witch house if you mean so.
Why would we go to the library?
Why wouldn't we?
Why would we?
Because it seems like it's
No.
awesome.
No. I say no.
All right, I'm going to sanitarium.
Wow.
You're going to sanitarium?
Yeah.
What number is that?
D1.
I think it's D1. Remember we had that typo at one point.
I think that. Oh.
I think the D1 was the sanitarium, but we thought it was the zoo.
Yeah.
No, that was yeah. All right.
For the town square.
Well, no, we were looking
thought
at
this was
Appendant Square appears as number D11 in the directory, and D1 on the map directory is correct. Again,
Oh,
Independence Square.
D11 is in question.
Yes.
So yeah, D1's still.
So that was the time we went to sanitarium. So that's a
Do you want
giant.
us to
That's
write
D1
that?
one.
No, that's fine.
Not with the pins that we have. So where's D1 on
People
that?
made stickers.
Oh, do you have those?
I didn't print them out, but people have made stickers.
D1's not even on the map. D2, D3.
Did you see D11?
Oh, there it
This
is.
is supposed to
Because
be
there's a
D11.
giant D. Yeah.
Okay, so D1. There you
Okay.
All right, so we're going to.
There's no.
The Arkham Sanitarium looms in front of you, appearing spectral and surreal. The ivy creeping up the building's sides is a vibrant green. Inside the sanitarium's usual unpleasant smells of sweat and blood overlaid with disinfectant are overwhelming. An orderly leads you to the quarters where Laura Baxter is housed. Housed? That's not a good word. She shares a small room with two other catatonic patients. They simply sit on their beds all day, stare off into space. The room is silent. Thank you. The room is silent when the orderly directs you in and points out Mrs. Baxter. Good luck getting anything out of her. She ain't said nothing today. Just today. Laura Baxter is a small woman in her early 30s. You stand before her and say her name. She is smiling and aware of you. You will end up here, she tells me. You will end up here. She tells me that you will end up right here beside me. What a happy thought. This is all in quotes, so I assume that's what she says.
Yep.
If you have requirement card 5, proceed to supplement encounters on page 144. Read entry 5. If you have requirement card 6, proceed to supplement encounters on page 144 and read entry 6.
Oh my god, you called it?
I feel like it was like some crazy passage. She went crazy. Supplement 6. Kassa lehuflema golfen pagana frishag. Laura cries.
Sounds about right.
John said it would never happen again. He promised, but I didn't believe him. She sobs, wringing her hands together.
They had twins.
I learned, Laura says in the eerie I learned, Laura says in an eerie, haunted whisper. She leans over, suddenly smiling again. You don't feel comfortable with her this close. Follow, my little girl. You can save her. The witch tells me that you must stay away, but I know she is lying.
Witch house.
Laura howls like a wolf. The nurse sedates her, and you leave, pretty shaken.
Which house? Which house?
Give me
I don't know. Which depends on which one that Brett wants to go to.
F11 Witch House.
No, that was a joke.
Yeah.
Brian and I were on the same page.
No.
What is that?
I'm gonna not allow that. So F11. Oh. Yeah, I'll take this. The landlord, Mr. Dombrowski, greets you at the door and leads you down a hallway to his own quarters. I find it remarkable that anyone, even poor students, could stand to live in such squalor. My lodgers all left right after the detectives questioned them about the crazy guy that died, Dombrowski said. I'm leaving myself in a couple of days, too. The city's threatening to condemn the building if I don't clear out the rats. Police said a rat attacked Gilman. Now that's a laugh. I'm not sure I believe it, but Elwood says he saw it. Before Gilman died, I had 5 tenants living here. Frank Elwood and Paul Choinsky, it's Choi with an O, were both students, just like Gilman. I think Elwood and Gilman were science majors at Miskatonic University. From what I heard, Elwood pretty much lives at Miskatonic University now. Troinsky was an English student. He was usually down there during the day and went to some cafe at night. Tried to stay away from the house as much as he could. You ask Mr. Dombrowski if you can see the attic room where Gilman died. He allows you to go, but refuses to come with you. Inside, the room is a large blood stain on the worn floorboards. Moments later, you become dizzy. You prop yourself against the wall. Your stomach lurches, and the walls of the ceiling of the room become impossibly angled and disproportionate. You stumble, confused, and the stench of the house becomes overwhelming. You close your eyes to deal with the nausea, and when you open them, you find yourself on a darkened plain that stretches towards an endless horizon. A small girl wearing a yellow coat stands before you, smiling. She winks and then runs away. You give chase, laughing, no longer concerned about anything, carefree. She stops next to an enormous white stone. A tall man with a shadow over his face, dressed in dark robes, is leaning on the rock. "Come, child," he says in a rasp. You reach for the girl and she mouths you. Suddenly all carefree feelings turn to panic and you scream. You open your eyes and find yourself lying on the rug of Walter Gilman's room. A voice in your head whispers, "She is ours now." You're sweating and your chest is heaving. It's pretty boring, but you know. It's a lot to interpret. A tall man with a shadow over his face.
So there's like an alternate plane or like reality.
The witch house is just, isn't it? Because we had this happen during like 2 mysteries back at the witch house, didn't we?
Something like that. It was.
Yeah. So like literally,
It's like a different witch is there every time.
Elwood lied. Clearly, Elwood lied. Is all I have to say. Because Elwood said he saw Gilman killed by a rat, and that's not true. So
maybe we should go to Miskatonic University and track down Elwood's.
at where is the
Go to the
question?
sun.
And then
We
Troinsky.
can go home again. And
The thing is, Troinsky though tried to stay away from the house. The English major kid. He tried to stay away as much as possible.
Fuck English.
But he went to a cafe
I'm going to
instead.
going to science hall.
Science hall.
What letter is that?
C12?
Sure.
Fuck it.
Oh, it's at the university.
It's at the university.
That's the plan.
I apologize in advance.
As you should.
It's the morning of day 3.
We have a whole day left.
We have a whole day left. Jesus. Well, we have day 4.
I mean, we found out some interesting things. I'm about to find out nothing, it seems.
How much space is there?
The Miskatonic Science Annex is one of the newer buildings on campus, a 3-story rectangle with brick and mortar overlooking Church Street. You meet with Professor Upham. He says to you in a whisper, "I guess you hear about Elwood."
Yeah.
He was one of my physics students.
Was.
Reasonably good student, attentive, conscientious. Lately, though, he'd become distracting. And now I think I know why. Elwood's no longer nothing. He's gone upstate to a small institution to stay for a year. He left quietly by train in the middle of the night. Apparently, watching his friend Gilman die was too much for him. You think Upham for his time and move?
We need to find Troinsky, right? Like, Elwood saw it and he went insane.
I didn't really. I guess. Alright.
So, like, Troinsky's the only other link here.
Well, it's the afternoon now.
There's also the hospitals.
I feel like Troinsky's the
The
lead.
hospital.
I think
Why the hospital?
But the problem is tracking down the
That's
right
the
records.
That's what he's
Well, what do the records really do?
Maybe
I think
Unless like it's
I think
Liz,
Laura
like a
and John had
godmother,
twins.
Godmother.
Had twins. I think Laura and John had twins.
Which
Yeah,
one
they
was
did.
Laura John?
Like no, like they had
those are the
sisters.
parents.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
Yeah, like on their level. Like it didn't skip a generation. That's what I
it's
think.
twins on twins on twins on
Twins,
twins.
twins,
What's the
twins, twins,
hospital?
twins, twins. It's New England. They're all interbred there, right?
C11.
we'll do that.
It is the afternoon.
I don't know where else to go.
How many cafes are there?
I'm visiting.
We've done this before.
I know.
There's,
How many
There's like
cafes?
3 different cafes.
Oh, St. Mary's Teaching
how we
Hospital
choose?
with Dr. Vincent Sutton. Trauma surgeon in chief.
There's Bell Cafe,
Pathologist.
and then there's a bunch of them. And the desk.
Just cafe. Just let's go
Two
for cafes. It's 2 cafes.
All right,
Which cafes?
we're at the hospital.
Bell and
What's going
What's
on?
the numbers?
Shh. What's going on?
The administrative assistant at the front desk of St. Mary's scowls at you the very instant you ask for Dr. Sutton. Dr. Sutton takes just long enough coming to the front to make standing there with her uncomfortable. We don't really keep records that date back more than a year, Sutton says when you ask him about Christine Baxter's birth. Nicholas Saltonstall at Town Hall would be your best bet for that. I didn't deliver Christine, but I remember there was an incident during her birth. I want to say she had a twin who was malformed or stillborn, but I can't remember exactly. It was some 8 years ago. Speaking of the mother, Laura, how is she doing? We did what we could for her here, but we aren't equipped to house someone with that degree of catatonia. The sanitarium is her best bet. Strange she was so suddenly paralyzed. Most mothers would not stop at anything to find their child. That's judgmental. You asked Sutton about any other unusual goings-on. Someone brought in Walter Gilman, a student from Witch House, who's dead on arrival. I've never seen anything like it before, so sent his body to Dr. Corbett. Maybe he'll have information about what happened to Mr. Gilman. His body was mangled, but appeared to be stab wounds and bite marks. I did not examine him closely. You thank Sutton and turn to leave when you catch a glimpse of a child in a yellow coat. Do you see that? You say to Sutton, but he has walked off. The figure dashes out the emergency exit. Could it be Christine? Your heart freezes. You may pursue.
Do it.
If you pursue, turn to the pursuit encounters on page 145 to continue.
It's the first yellow page.
Do it.
And read the first one, obviously.
It's not.
Probably red herring, right?
See, there it is.
No.
Okay. You follow the figure into a dead-end alley. You hear laughter and spin around, looking in all directions. No sign of the child anywhere, but there seems to be nowhere she could have escaped. Your eye catches something written in chalk on the brick wall before you. Please help me. I am stuck here. Have you been to my house? Did you see my braids? -C. So obviously, this is like Stranger Things. She's like in the upside down.
Yeah, this is like something good if like you went to the hospital before going to their house. So.
Take requirement part 2.
Oh, okay, that's good.
A chill runs down your spine. If Christine is alive, she's clearly being controlled by someone. This mystery is not a simple case of a missing child. The girl is in trouble. You may need more time to solve this investigation. So you wonder if you should go visit Armitage at his home to request more time. You can do that?
Apparently.
Oh, we should be doing that every
Well, no. That's just this one.
The fuck? So apparently we have to get pursuits, and every pursuit.
Perhaps adds time.
I mean, the pursuits go in order, though.
Yeah.
So you mean you have to go to the first pursuit, so instead of you're just waiting for you to stumble upon one.
Let's go to Armitage's house.
U8? Is that the same as?
Right? It says Armitage's house?
I mean, Armitage. Armitage.
Armitage's house or office. What did it
It
say?
says
Yeah.
house.
All right,
Yeah,
his
what did he
office
say?
is C23.
His house is U8.
So which one did it say?
It says his house.
It's a house? Okay.
Or go see Dr. Corbett and what happened to Gilman, but
We
I feel
know.
like that's a side story.
I mean, it's good. It's important, but the thing is, like, we got to the end of that. Like, we know there's some sort of dimension
Dr. Corbett.
in the thing. Wow, you're just like all over that.
Just get stuck and
Yeah, no, we've had that. We're thinking about getting thinking bobbers. Armitage's home. So I guess we'll go to Armitage's home at U8. You said?
Oh, did you?
You wait, yes.
Yeah, I did. I had one of those rolls right next to you.
Yeah. Hopefully. Unless it's being stupid.
Oh, U8, Uptown District. So this is evening of day 3. Armitage is just leaving when you stop by his house. And why is he leaving at night? All right. And he smiles amicably when you approach him. We seem to be bouncing around all the places, he says. This case has produced many surprises. I realized in my emotional distress I did not give you enough time to investigate. You have 2 more days for your investigation. Move X marker to afternoon of day 6
Wow.
of the time tracker. You now have the option of extending your investigation until day 6 afternoon. Is this? Yes. I'm just making sure I'm reading the right passage. Alright. If you haven't visited the Hathaway sisters, you should. They have enlightening information.
The Hathaway sisters.
And some not so enlightening. But more importantly, have you seen the little girl running around town?
Yeah.
Something odd is going on, and I plan to get to the bottom of it.
Have you seen this witch house thing? Just go to the man's room.
You should be careful. This is turning into a dangerous investigation. I fear there might be other mysteries here. Do you get the feeling of being watched?
Yeah. Go to the witch house, Armitage.
That's it.
Okay.
Are
Ember W.
Are they
Is
at
that where
different
the Hathaway
places?
is?
Ember W.
They're at different locations?
There's 2.
But
That's really
I mean, the only W name for a female would be like Wilma.
There's a lot of
Winifred.
those. This
Wendy.
period was the W period for female names. Okay.
But I'm
This
just
period
saying,
of
I
time.
feel like there's more males. There's Walter
Oh,
and
but these
William.
are. I'm assuming these are male names, and then because there's no H though. There's no H. There's no Heather.
So it's either their fathers
Well,
So these are probably their husbands.
Well, the sisters.
maybe their
Ah.
sister wives, and she was saying this.
But it says
Wow.
sister, so
Ember W.
We can always know
wait. What letters are
Or
there?
U66 or D59.
Whoa.
D15. Where's the house of the Baxters?
Baxter's name was F27.
F is down here.
Sure, F29.
D's up there, and then U over here. What was it? U,
66
which is right there.
or D59.
I'm gonna do D59.
So you're seeing W.
W.
It is the morning of day 4.
Investigations over.
Don't give us the friggin' address.
You said D.
D59 looks good to me.
It's D59.
The address on the card turns out to be a small cottage-style house near downtown. As you approach, you see 2 middle-aged women sitting on the front porch. You come from the house with a hole at its center, except you see only one hole, where in truth there are 2. Her nonsense gives you pause, and the other woman makes a tisking sound and motions for you to have a seat next to them. Don't mind her, she says. She's blind and she's a prophetess, but she doesn't bite. My name's Wendy Hathaway, and this is my sister, Heather. Sometimes I have trouble figuring out what she's yapping on about, but I can guess this much from what she said. You come to us about the house where the little girl went missing, the Baxter house. Let's see what my sister has to say to you, and I'll do my best to interpret. Heather resumes. In the cut of the earth, there's a stone white as driven snow. Every year, it's stained red by the sacrifice of innocence. You cannot confront this being with your wits alone. If you follow, I see something removed and something gained, but I cannot see more. My vision is permitted. Wendy states, I think the cut of the world is a river, but a stone, perhaps Heather, sees the ravine at Meadow Hill. You'll need to take a train to get there. If you go, take some kind of protection, or call upon the help of someone? The help of someone? Question mark. I'm not sure. Heather also mentioned you go after someone? You must be careful. Heather begins. She will ask you to follow her. She pauses, her eyes bigger than before. Fear contorts her face. You have to find the one that can protect you. No, I sense a presence. I see fire than darkness. I see your soul used in a bargain to save the life of another. I see a man of cloth giving you an artifact. She winces and folds her arms over her head. Her sister is quite alarmed and peers over at you suspiciously. Sometimes she gets very tired. Please leave. I will take Heather inside the rest. You stop Heather. What does she mean by artifact? What does she see? Wendy turns her head slightly. I think she means a religious item, like a cross or a rosary. I never heard her tell someone to seek protection. This worries me. Check the First Baptist Church. You must go now. Alarmed, you walk down the steps of their porch. Across the street, a little girl in a yellow coat's watching you. She waves to you to follow her and turns to leave. You may pursue.
Are you going to pursue?
I don't really want to.
How many pursuits do we have?
5 or something.
However many that's in the book.
There's 6.
Oh,
There are 6 pursuits, yeah.
it doesn't hurt us to pursue.
I think
We don't know.
it's kind of.
So
I mean,
I'm
my
going-
most is like we
So
could
we're
be
doing
delayed.
Pursuit 2.
Yep.
I think we should at least go a few times.
You chase the yellow hooded figure this time into a large building.
We get stabbed.
When you enter, you catch a glimpse of the girl as the doors close to an elevator. You run up the stairs as the elevator ascends to the top floor. You enter and see the girl on the floor of the hallway crying. Then you hear the demon in her voice. She's talking downward, not facing you, but the voice of an elderly lady is heard alongside the voice of a little girl. You're not sure which is speaking. I can see things here, she says. I see the future and the past. I see that time is running out for your friend Armitage. The old ones are coming. Perhaps if you can free me from this spirit, I can tell you how to save him. Just free me. She begins singing to the tune of a children's song. Monster in the barn, a monster in the barn. It grows and grows, then comes for you, a monster in the barn. You slip hard, but when you push, hitting your head on the floor, you black out momentarily, and upon waking, you find a slip of paper in your hand. It reads, "Now I know I've got a heart, because it's breaking." Christine. Advance the time tracker one space.
Da da da. Where are you taking us, Brian?
Different barns.
Are you sure you don't want to go to church?
Yeah, that might be useful.
Barn.
Barns? What barns?
Monster in the
I
barn.
mean, we're kind of in a city.
But there's a monster.
In the barn.
We can't get to the ravine in this game, right?
We can't. There's a stone. There's a ravine at Meadow Hill, but you'll need to take a train to get there, so we have to go to the train station.
Yeah.
But if we go, we have to take protection or call upon the help of someone.
F-15 it is.
And it sounds like...
What is that? 15.
First
That's
pass?
the
Is that first pass? Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah,
This
and
is
apparently-
day 4 evening.
Some bullshit's happening to Armitage, so...
He's in trouble.
I wonder if Mystery 8's gonna be without Armitage.
I wonder if we have to go to like his office to save him.
Wow.
I mean, he's our opposition, so therefore.
He's pretty bad at being opposition. He's very helpful.
Yeah.
You read in the paper that the First Baptist Church is honoring one of its own. For a moment, you question the
Lawrence
innocence
E.
of this
Rogers.
ceremony. Seeing the malign intent behind the innocuous celebration, you shake your head to clear your thoughts. No, that doesn't make sense, you tell yourself. The front door of the church is open, and no one seems to be about. To your astonishment, you see a white sheet covering the tremendous bulk behind the pulpit. It is too big and wide to be crossed. Reach under and feel stone. It's a tremendous stone sculpture that has to weigh several tons. This makes you feel very uncomfortable. You examine the podium. The only thing of interest is the sentence carved into the wood. It's okay to make a deal with the devil if the cause is sufficient, and if you're willing to lose your sanity to save another. On your way out, you see a cross in the foyer, and you have the overwhelming urge to take it.
Thank God.
Take required card.
Wow.
Well, 2 has not come in handy yet. Oh, we have 9 and 6, so that's convenient.
Oh,
Well, you have it. All right, Abby, where are you taking us in the morning? What are some of our options?
Sure.
I feel like the closest barn thing would be that old hangman's mill.
Yeah.
But like we already had like a case or two there.
I'm thinking like the train station, Armitage's office.
It's a barn.
Because it's cheap to slaughter. You
Well,
know?
it's also a barn, probably. Sounds very agricultural.
When it was the slaughterhouse?
oh T-41, but I don't think that's
Is that like what category is it on there?
private company.
Monster in the barn.
lost as to like what would be the best thing to do next.
So what is it?
So we wanted protection. Maybe you
Well,
need to
remember,
go to the
we
train
can
station.
go to the doctor to figure out what stab, like, get his opinion on
You
what
could go
dealt
to
with the guilt
Corvette.
past.
Yeah.
That's a side story, but that is a thing.
And we have protection now. So we still have cross.
We still have cross. And also that weird stone, making a deal with the devil. And the old lady's voice, I'd just like to point out that clearly someone died that wasn't just the young twin, Malformed twin. Like, clearly the Malformed twin was totally killed and is now doing some stuff. But like there's maybe some other family sins. Because Laura was like, it's going to happen again. And I don't think the Malformed twin thing was like the thing that happened again. Because that's, yeah, I mean, like, this is, like, that happens in the middle of pregnancy, and it's very traumatic, but it's just not like, I feel like they knew it was going to happen in their family or something like that.
Okay, so what about the train station?
There is a train
It's
station.
just so weird that they said that it's like, oh, yeah, it's not inside the place, you have to take a train ride. So I don't know if it's hinting that it means the train station triggered that event or not.
I mean, I don't know. Something might happen to stop. Something will happen to stop us from going on the train. It's not going to have us leave the town.
It could if it's a very small entry, and then we come back.
Yeah, if it's like a summer or something.
You went on the train, and you're
It was
there.
a day.
Yeah. You got there. You saw the ravine. It was nice. You spat in it.
What else do you guys think is a good option?
So we have this, so the
Corvette?
ravine...
I just feel like the stuff with Gilman's like a side story we'll get points for knowing, but isn't necessarily helpful. Because he's like a college student who has
But
All right,
something
so-
happened in the witch house. So why did this thing break out in the witch house?
So the question is, all right, so how do we believe she was taken? Because that's what we're going to
by
have to
some
answer.
mystical force.
She was
like
taken
some
into another
demon.
dimension.
Yeah,
By,
That's the question.
some sort of demon.
There's a black hooded figure, but there's also an
Feel
old
like
lady
we
voice
need-
mixed with the young lady
we
voice.
need to focus on that because that will give us a bunch of points. Sure, the Gilman will give us points, but this, whatever took her,
I mean, we're close to negative points territory. I think that Armitage solved it right now.
You know, in the cover they have the girl in the cemetery.
In the yellow coat.
Yeah. Cover.
Hangman's Hill. There's a monster in the barn.
is that what that is?
Yeah.
Old wooden graveyard.
But monster in the barn.
Yeah, I feel like we need to really focus on Christine, but I'm not sure the train station. Investigating the
I bet that may be like a pursuit thing now.
train station.
Like going, like
I mean, now that we have a cross to protect ourselves.
yeah, that's the thing. I think I bet we just need a requirement card, but we need to find enough things to get pursuits, and we don't have enough pursuit triggers right now.
We did two.
M1.
Just so you know, selling the pot at Meadow Cemetery, $20 best offer.
Nice.
But
That is a good deal.
So what are you leaning towards?
The train station.
go for it.
What number's the train station?
Isn't it this though?
Train station was an N38.
So
If we want to go, look, there's 3 samples of new flavors available at the ice cream.
oh man, we should try ice cream store.
Let's just try.
Are you sure?
She's
It's a
doing it.
long.
Very good.
Long is good. Let's do
I
it.
think that's where we wanted to go because I don't know anywhere else.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I know, right? But we're in the middle of the war, so whatever.
Are we
Yeah,
becoming-
that's what it was saying. It was
I mean,
Americans are working harder
39.
than ever because of the war. It's 37. Was it? Yeah, because it was December 37, right?
Huh.
That was
That's
like
Pearl
30.
Harbor.
That was 39. I don't know. Pearl Harbor was much.
Okay.
Well, they're working harder than ever. So,
Was it 40?
Alright. Meadow Hill is a suburb of Arkham proper. The tiny hamlet consists of a dozen homes, a general store, and a cemetery. The only other thing of note is a ravine which runs adjacent to the cemetery. After a few quick inquiries, you were told that you need to speak to Eustace Larkson, cemetery caretaker, to have him escort you to the ravine. Time requirement. If you have visited the cemetery in the morning or afternoon, there is nothing of note here.
Wait.
Morning.
Cemetery? I thought you went to the train station.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
the
but
train
we
station took us to the cemetery.
Oh,
But it
okay.
doesn't matter because it's the evening.
Yeah. If you wish, you can wait here or advance the time track to the next evening space.
Nope, we're on the evening, so we're gonna go.
Otherwise, you must leave this location.
Nope.
Yeah, we're staying.
We're staying.
Okay. You follow Eustace down a winding path flanked on both sides by tombstones. The grave markers are worn and moss covered, and you pressed a small knoll where Eustace stops and points. There 'tis, he says. About 500 feet down the hill, the ground gives way and forms a wide canyon with steep sides of bare earth. You can hear the faint sound of morning water near the bottom of the ravine, and hurry down to the edge to see a small creek at the bottom of the crevice. A creaking footbridge crosses the ravine, and as you look across the cavern, you spot smooth white stone half buried in the earth. The stone is about 20 feet long and 5 feet across. You take a tentative step on the footbridge and silently hope you will support your weight. You cross the swaying ancient structure, and when you take your first step on the other side, you trip, falling face first just a few inches from disaster. You look at your feet and see a well-worn doll was the cause of your fall. What am I supposed to do? Alright, I need requirement card 5.
We need or we get?
We take requirement card 5. You continue toward the stone and find yourself alone. You aren't sure when Eustace left you, but given the strange feeling
Gravekeepers.
you get as you get closer to the bizarre monolith, you can't blame him. The feeling of dizziness hits you and you fall and hit your head harder against the rock. Dizzy, you try to stand but cannot gain your balance. Suddenly a voice booms, "What's done is done." With blurred vision, you see a tall figure in robes standing in front of you. His face hidden by his cowl. He holds a hand near your face and speaks. "You cannot save the children. Keziah holds them for me." Keziah, and she is a woman.
Okay. So that's the old lady voice, I guess.
Keziah holds them for me, and in her new body, she brings them to me. So I guess her new body's supposed to be me?
Yes, because she had the old lady voice.
Yeah. As their names are written in my book, so shall yours one day. So it's like definitely. Dizziness consumes you, and the man in black fades from the horizon, now replaced with a writhing mass of tentacles. Wow.
Oh.
The next thing you hear is the voice of Eustace asking, "You okay? You froze in place before you set foot on the bridge. I thought you were dying." Shaking the visions from your head, you assure Eustace that you're fine. Nonetheless, Eustace insists on cutting your tour short, and you gladly oblige.
What about, like, we need the protection?
So, we actually cheated.
Hey, how did we cheat?
Breaks in the morning.
Well, guess you should have kept track of it.
I wonder whose job that was.
I'm telling you now, so...
We had more to the side, so don't worry.
But this was the 12th thing we did, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, but you forward one with your
I did.
last... Your running.
That's true. We got caught in we're really clumsy during this case. We fainted in the witch house. We tripped / pushed in the Christine's second pursuit. Tripped over a bridge.
Just a lot of concussion.
A lot of concussions.
I'm like a football player.
We really are.
What hope we go
Keziah. We need
That's
more
fallen?
pursuits. We need more pursuits. Like, we just need to pursue all the way to
Alright,
6.
where do I go to get a pursuit?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I'm thinking that we now have 100% confirmation that it's like mystical.
Okay.
So maybe we should talk to the occult guy. But
Requirement card 5, I'd like to point out, was used
It was with the sanitarium.
Yeah, so we go back to the sanitarium and talk to her and get another thing.
Do we want to do that?
Don't know.
I don't know if it's worth it.
I mean, we have a cross, so in case, like, that thing triggers something, we can be like, hey, look, I have a
I feel like
cross.
the cross will be for something more.
I thought she said we need protection and sacrificing a life. I don't know.
Yeah. But we haven't met that stage yet.
I thought it was when we were going to go out to the thing, but okay.
Yeah, no, that's what I assumed.
But there's a doll, so, you know.
Yeah,
So we know she's there. That she's physically there.
We saw the doll in our dream, right? Because we paused at the bridge and everything else after that was a good hallucination.
You're not putting them in a good place.
No, I just was. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, we'll call it quits. Here's the first kid. She's dead.
We know a lot.
Yeah, we do. But do we know what that old lady's name is?
Isaiah.
How do you spell that?
K-E-Z-I-A-H. That's a good name.
And the Tentacle guy, I'm trying to remember who he is, but he is one of the elder gods, so.
There's Corbett still.
Because they're like worm walking in a skin or whatever like that. There's that.
I mean, yeah, we could investigate Dylan.
I may be mixing up the Dungeons and
There's
Dragons.
Armitage often.
Yeah, I feel like I remember the Eldritch Horror creature, but like I don't think it was a god.
We found the Cthulhu thing, so.
You know, we could try to call it quits in 12 instead of 3, 6, 9, 12, 4,
I
6,
think we're already over the limit.
16, no, 15, 16, 17.
I can't figure out a pattern for these pursuit things. The first one was when we went to the hospital. The second one was when we went to prophetesses.
Yeah, it just depends on when the kid shows up.
Yeah. And I guess, like, sure, we did that after, like, following the most obvious signposted clues.
You never know, she could appear at the sanitarium.
Again, yeah.
Could we just keep on going to, like, the same place where we see pursuits and then just trigger them? Because that totally seems legitimate by rules as written, but that just seems really, really scammy. Like, we just keep on going back to the Heather's house every time. And
Or
it
is
just,
it
yes.
I don't think so. You know, I don't think you're supposed to go the
I think
same.
you're supposed to, but I think you could.
Yeah, I think theoretically you could, but then it'd almost be like wasting time. Because I feel like the pursuits haven't really told us that much. Like, we just know that the kid is trapped.
I feel like the
she's-
sixth one is going to give us, like, everything.
Yeah, but then what was that, 4 more to go?
Well, we have,
Yeah.
we have 4 more spaces. We just go to the Heathers 4 more times.
Quote unquote 4 more spaces.
Yeah.
So long as we don't get something that says.
Well, also if we decide if we're cheating or not.
So there's Corbett. There's the cafe.
Finding that guy, the English
Yeah,
major that didn't run.
I mean, it seems like most of our options now are kind of limited to the Gilman case rather than the Baxters.
What was the Gilman's case again?
The student
Animal
hospital.
attack in the witch house.
Yeah, he mentioned Corbett, the doctor.
Yeah, they say that he has his body. But I feel like if we went there, all we would be like is, oh yeah, it wasn't animals, it was definitely something else.
Yeah,
He
like
was,
Gilman wasn't
purposely
taken.
murdered.
His soul wasn't taken, it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, he was just murdered.
No children were taken that way, so. He may have gotten in the middle of something, but he was not.
Right, he was not.
But, like, clearly the fact that there's a blood stain there, and, like, it showed, like, we went to the mental landscape where Christine was, like, that's something. But it's not, like, fully connected. Like, maybe he was doing a blood ritual, because that's just what people at Miskatonic University do as students. You do blood rituals, and he screwed up. It's a cultist, postgraduate institution, obviously.
To do.
East Armitage Street.
I mean, maybe Fenton. I don't know.
Alright,
I
so
feel
the
like you're really
Fenton
basic.
is For all things on the cult when you can't find good information at the library, Pascal Fenton is Arkham's resident occultist and spiritualist. Pascal meddles in forces he would be better off to avoid. His knowledge of the so-called Great Old Ones is extensive, and on occasion you may force to team up with them, much to the chagrin of Armitage. I don't know if that would be helpful.
Well, we did. We went to the doctor, and the doctor actually had one of the things.
You haven't been in the library.
I'm almost tempted to just go back to the canatonic to see what she does with the whole 5.
It's your choice. Whatever you think is best.
Do it. Do whatever.
So we can
you wanna
actually
do.
use the
A requirement card?
requirement cards.
Hey, we used 6. Then
Yeah.
we used to use 5.
So this was D1 again?
Yep.
And the good thing is this doesn't count as against us since we've already been there once.
It doesn't.
It only counts unique locations. So if you go back to the location, it doesn't count against you. It's just taking up time.
Is
It
that
takes
a
up
thing?
time,
Oh.
but it doesn't take locations. So like if you went to 14, you only went to 10, but you went to 3 different
I
places.
see.
Okay. I was going to say, you don't have to...
Blah blah blah
confused,
blah
yeah.
blah 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 blah. You will end up here. She tells me that you will end up right here beside me. By a happy thought.
Oh, Christine got to her. Christine Minecrafter. Or Cake.
Cake. Cake. Right, page 1-4, raid entry 5. You show Laura the doll you found at Meadow Hill. Apparently we grabbed it.
You did.
Even 8.
Wait, that's a dreamscape. What? Whatever.
No, that's what he tripped over.
Okay.
Even 8 years later, the old witch is here, but I did not understand, Laura says in an icy voice. John told me Catherine died. A sacrifice. Catherine was spared? I know I saw her the night Christine disappeared. She told me her name. Christine never knew she had a sister. So the witch still had her, and I thought I could save her. The witch took possession of my baby and spared her for what I do not know. Just as Laura seems to be coherent, she turns to muttering again, as if she herself suddenly became possessed. The final words you can understand are in a deeper, shaky voice. They are protected. Do you go to church? ? You should go to church, Laura says wildly. Go to church!
We went to church. Okay, jeez. Is the requirement card 9?
We have a problem.
We went to church.
Going to that.
That seems like the church. There's a white rock there with the sentence carved into it.
Well, they want us to go to church.
So that's clearly white rock adjacent.
What other church would we go to besides First Baptist?
I mean, we got the cross.
12.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe
There's
we
no-
get points for having the cross.
I hope so. I bet there's going to be a scene at the end.
I mean, we also now know who did it. If it asks, like, who's responsible? The witch.
That's
Desire.
the witch.
Which we knew.
Is that the witch or is
Yes.
the witch the subject?
Desire has a new body.
The witch.
She was
yeah.
given it.
Desire the witch.
Which was Catherine.
Do we
Or
want to
is
call it?
Catherine the one with
They're both with the witch.
Catherine was taken 8 years ago by the witch, but then she was kept. She was spared, as Laura just said. So she was
She
spared
thought
as a new
the
body.
baby was dead.
So therefore, we think that the person we're chasing is Christine. When it's
So
really Catherine.
Baxter is a crazy bastard. He's a bad.
John?
I guess that
Yeah.
if we could find out where
He's
Baxter
just, you know.
was.
It looks like he's like offering the kids, kind of.
Yeah, because
Cause-
Baxter's not at home.
Yeah, he offered it when he was a baby.
Well, because to help, like he offered the malformed one to help save Christine.
What did he say? He was a library employee. John Baxter, library employee. So maybe we should go to the library and try to talk to Baxter.
Okay. What's the library?
C23.
Is that one of the places where people we know are?
C23A.
Yes, C23 is where Armitage's office
Well,
is.
C23A is on.
Yes.
Okay. That's an interesting conjecture.
Armitage's office is inside the library.
Sure.
It is quote unquote evening or afternoon of day 6.
C23.
Who knows what's happening?
They're fine.
Because we had to skip ahead for yours.
Oh, damn.
We need to skip ahead on mine.
Well, because we were really in the morning, it says like, oh, if you're at the cemetery at night, you can either skip ahead or come back later.
Anyway.
This is annoying. Neither Armitage nor John Baxter are at the library.
Oh.
Instead, Miss Sargent sees you in the foyer, right outside the special volume stack. She admits her knowledge of witches and the relationship to Walpurgis Eve probably pales in comparison to Pasquale Fenton's. It does, however, confirm your suspicion. The local witches followed a couple of deities, she said. There's Azathoth, at the center of the ultimate chaos, and there's Narcolepsy, the crawling chaos. We don't know much about religion surrounding these deities. Regarding the missing girl, however, I ran across an old newspaper copy from 2 decades ago about children missing. A reporter followed up on the missing children, and he too eventually went missing. The reporter was working on a piece about child sacrifice, wherein spirits could inhabit the bodies of other children. If they believed they could bring dead persons back into this world by possessing the bodies of children, that would explain why more than one child is usually taken. If you have requirement card 1, proceed to supplement on cameras.
So Fenton, what's going on?
Yeah,
It's either Fenton or Recall.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you want?
So you're in the hot seat.
What do people think?
You're in the hot seat. That's what I think.
I don't know what more he could tell us. Like, I feel like he'd say, if anything, he'd tell us where to go.
I think
We
I
really
could.
have one more turn.
I could say 50% chance of a chase, though, like a follow.
A pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
What
Surprise
does-
the library and have a pursuit.
What does that have then?
There's some, like going to 32A did some crazy stuff too. So there's a supplemental
I don't know.
kind of 23A.
I mean, like, I'm kind of like, feel like this is not one of the ones you go to at the end. Because he's one of the, Pascal is,
Information.
yeah. But I mean,
But the way these pursuit things are, you know, like this pursuit is like an escalating meter.
true.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the only reason. I feel like he could tease out a pursuit.
Pascal is at L4 if Brian is to go there, just FYI.
Or do we look for Troyans?
I have no clue what you just said.
Troinsky is.
Oh,
Troinsky, sorry.
Yeah, he's probably not applicable for it now.
He's what?
Probably too late on that
Probably
road.
too late. I'm just trying. All I'd say is that, like, what's the last name? Like, what is his last name? What's the ethnicity of it? And try to find the cafe that's closest to that. Like, it's the only way we're
Why
able to
don't we
find
go
our
to
cafe.
the English
it's in Troy,
No.
it's like-
He's an English
Oh,
man.
yeah, he's an English major.
Screw it. I went to science.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
No, it's English.
Where is this?
Fuck you.
C15, the Liberal Arts Building.
Is there anything there?
Outside of the Miskatonic Liberal Arts Building, you find students lazing about on lawn, reading books by Gibbons, Melville, Dickens, Poe, and inside, a professor directs you to Paul Troinsky, who sits at a desk in an empty classroom, going over the notes for his master's thesis. Okay, this is a long quote. Gillen was working on a series of papers that tied spatial physics to mathematical theories. Specifically, he was convinced that in his attic room at the witch house, the walls between realities were thin. Gillen said there were 3 of these around Arkham, one on an island in the river.
Knew it! Knew it!
And another near the white stone next to the ravine at Meadow Hill. Frank Elwood would know better than I what brought about Gilman's death. Gilman believed he crossed into other worlds while dreaming. In this other world, he said he encountered the spirit of the old witch for whom the witch house was named, Keziah Mason. Keziah participated in rituals and human sacrifices and other bizarre practices. Paul takes out a piece of paper and writes 2 names, Nyarlathotep and Azathoth.
Yeah.
You can see that he's a bit uncomfortable. Clearly he doesn't understand a lot of what he tells you, simply relaying things Gilman had said. Gilman interacted with a man or demon that he called the Black Man, or Dark Man, who is a manifestation of a deity, the Nyarlathotep.
It's a miracle.
That man. Even stranger still is that Gilman feared Keziah's pet more than anything. He said it was a giant rat that would viciously burrow inside a person and rip them apart from the inside.
Sound like a
Relieved to be done with this conversation, you walk away. In the distance, you see a small girl in a yellow coat watching him. Seconds later, she turns and walks in the opposite direction. may pursue.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
Nah, it's too much. You know, we're busy people.
We're
You don't
on
have
to the
to pursue
unvisited
it.
isle next.
Yeah, we're going to the unvisited isle.
It's
no
so
matter what.
inappropriately named. It is not
Oh.
an unvisited.
Aw.
Is it a trap?
Just the last 4 words. You run to where you last saw the girl and stop, looking all directions, but she has vanished already. A man with an umbrella bumps into you and drops a book. You pick it up and yell after the man, but he does not turn, walking briskly away with his colleague. You are too out of breath to follow. The book is The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Inside the front cover it says, Property of Owen Library. However, there's also an address inside for the Arkham Rare Books and App Store. Take requirement card 1. I wonder who almost had to use that.
Wasn't me.
That was me.
This is the last one.
Well, you were staring at me.
No,
So I was like,
That was me.
well, I know, but you were staring at me. I was like, it wasn't me.
I was staring into space.
No, not you. Brian was staring at me.
Oh, was
That's not your fault.
All right, where are you going?
And then we're ending this game on the island.
As is traditional. Actually, are we? Yes, we are. Have fun. How
Is
much?
there nothing there? Oh, there's stuff there.
Sure.
Either that or we go back to the library.
No, that's not
I'm sorry.
Alright. You head to the dock to try to arrive to the unvisited isle. The old ferryman smiles at you, reeking of bathtub gin. After arriving on the island, you spend an hour searching to find no information on Christine Baxter. You dejectedly return to the boat when you notice the old man lying in the boat. You kneel next to him and see that his throat has been slashed. From the look of the cut, you can tell it was made with a jagged edge. Fearing for your own safety, you step over the corpse and begin frantically rowing back to the shore. You send for Detective Garrison, who arrives to take the old man's body into custody. You're questioned by Garrison's men released. Shaken, you continue your investigation, but can't help but think that someone is trying to scare you off this place. Take requirement card 7. Sorry guys, don't do it.
Why wouldn't they have just like
Should've
killed
gone to rare
us?
Like, we're gonna take this dead body into custody. We never know if it did something wrong or not.
Well, we have lots of requirement cards.
We have a lot of requirement cards.
That's the
Alright.
first.
And we have ones that like actually we came across that are numbers that we know.
I just don't even know what to do.
Is this our last turn?
Yes.
Like go back to the
Oh, that's
library.
So there's the
The
rare.
library has requirement card 1 as an option.
There's the rare
That
And
book.
there's also going to the rare bookstore that also
Where's rare books?
we have no clue. But,
and 24.
yeah, somewhere over here.
Let's go to requirement card 1. Where is that?
Well,
C23.
The
C23
library.
is guaranteed, but like in 24, like it heavily
20.
hinted when we got the. It heavily hinted when we got the requirement card. That
Yeah,
rare
but we
books.
can't put a requirement card in one goes. And it's not a unique location.
Yeah.
C23.
Alright.
Wait for this. Oh, we done good.
We did. Well, we don't know how done we did.
No. We done bad. Good.
How good did we do?
C23. Neither Armitage nor Baxter.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
If you have a requirement card,
Yeah.
proceed to...
Supplemental encounters 1.
Yeah. Let's see how we're supplemented.
And it says back 1 sentence.
Yeah, probably.
Take requirement card 8.
The girl in yellow has been following you. In the distance, you lock eyes with her. You may pursue.
Yes! Do it.
So this is pursuit 3?
4. I wish we could pursuit 6. I'm so cute.
Alright. The yellow hooded figure runs into a 2-story building. Wait, wasn't she
Yes, deal with
chasing
it. Just
us?
deal with it.
Runs into a 2-story building and stands at the second floor window. She yells for you to stop when you get close to the building's entrance. Please, don't come inside! I will be punished! If you want to help me, I can't be seen with you. I need you to do something first. Go to the witch house, but do not believe anything that old man who runs it tells you. Don't tell my father you have seen me, or they will come after me too. Find who that man is at the witch house, and... Oh no. The girl looks behind her, fear in her eyes. I must hide. She disappears inside. You run upstairs and look all over the building. no one is there.
But we kind of did that, right?
One of these people we've encountered might be.
It was Grelinsky that we encountered, and he said that rats and he's going to be closed down.
Yeah.
And then he said, don't tell the dad if you haven't gone. The key thing is find the man in the witch house.
Question 1.
Questions! Question 1. I'll wait till Abby's ready.
Zaya.
No, we have the last name too now.
Mason.
Alright, question.
Who abducted Christine Baxter on May Eve?
Saya Mason.
Kazai Mason.
Kazai.
Yeah.
Music service.
Kabbalah Mason.
For what purpose was she and the other children abducted?
To depossess.
Hosts?
Possession.
Why did we not go to M. Mason house?
What was,
M. Mason.
I mean, we didn't get that until like the very end.
No, it was not K. Mason.
Well, she's an old witch, so it would be her
Where
children.
did you do the witch
There's
house?
2 Masons.
Oh wait, hold on. If you still, alright, there was a, what exactly happens if we take requirement 1 to the library C23?
Yeah.
You still go to the supplement counter, but substitute this entry for what's there. Yet, oh wow, this is completely different.
Oh.
So we didn't run. Oh no, there is a, alright. Yes, Miss Sargent says, thank you for returning it. I knew that Christine Baxter had checked out the book. She said it was her favorite. No, well, it's a library, C23.
Right.
It was her favorite. I just didn't want to trouble John for it, given his distress. After your talk, she leaves you to explore the stacks on your own, and for a while you do. Then, as you're perusing volumes about ancient Arabic, and Egyptian cults and their relationships to certain gods of chaos, you glimpse off in a darkened corner of the room, wearing somewhere a cloak, roof, blah, 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 where it's very tall, mommy see where it's bloody chase.
Okay.
Alright.
So it's your favorite book. Wow.
Wizard of Oz.
So
Alright.
the guy bumped us.
Question 3.
Okay.
What did the principal of Christine's school show you?
Nothing.
Why
Oh.
are you done?
I think I know the answer, but
What
What
is
is
it?
it?
It's because I.
Guess it.
No,
We're
it's
allowed
cheating.
He saw some other passage, is what he said.
What
Oh,
was
that.
it?
I guess what it is. A drawing.
It's a drawing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the drawing of.
That drawing with her.
I'm
and
assuming.
him.
It's
Alright.
oh, that was a.
4. What family secret from 8 years ago are Laura and John hiding?
Catherine.
Twins.
Deformed baby.
Yeah, that would have been good to go to school.
Well, how do we know the school?
Well, because
I mean, there is a child.
We have the drawing.
Yeah,
and,
and-
it said, and she mentioned
The
the good
report.
grades.
Yeah. Why did Christine's
Yeah,
mother
that's
go
what she-
catatonic so quickly after her abduction?
Because she didn't know what happened again. Like she kept on talking about that. She's like, I thought it was gonna happen again or something like that.
Loss of child?
PTSD.
Expected?
times 2.
Loss of child due to it having already happened.
Because she saw her. Oh no, it's because she saw her child that she already had seen. That she thought
was dead. She saw Catherine.
Yeah.
What are the names of the other 2 children taking around the same time as Christine?
Who knows? Yeah.
The Dislis Woldreco.
Did you know
like Klein. It's on the newspaper.
Yeah.
Klein into Gyps.
Adelaide and
Newspaper.
Yeah, newspaper. It's on the newspaper.
I think like during these questions you're not supposed to look at like newspapers.
Wow, that's stupid.
Oh.
What is name of, because I mean like you're in front of Armitage and she's like, well let me pull out a paper.
Hey, Armitage, right here.
those are our notes. We copied the whole newspaper.
What is the name of Christine's favorite book?
Hey, Wizard of
Deep,
Oz.
wonderful.
Wonderful.
Full Wizard of Oz.
Man.
What happened to Walter Gilliman?
He was stabbed to death by the pet of Keziah Mason.
He was eaten
He was
from
eaten
the outside
inside
out.
by a giant.
Was he
fucking rat.
stabbed or eaten?
He was eaten from
He
the
was
inside
stabbed
out.
from the inside out.
He was eaten from the
He was
inside
stabbed also. You know, there's some cut marks there too. It was an internal
He
stabbing.
was killed by a giant fucking rat.
Yeah.
What are the names of the 2 students who lived at the witch house with Gilliman?
Twainski and Eld, whatever. Elwood.
Who's not a girl?
No. What's his last name?
Elwood.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was L. Wood.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's why. And then she was talking about Legally Blonde, and I was like, oh, okay, L. Wood.
Oh.
Question 10.
Sorry, I don't know.
Where do the child sacrifices take place?
At the rock and the thing
Meadow
or whatever.
Hill
Meadow Hills,
Ravine.
Ravine, Cemetery.
Question 11. Who killed the old man on the little island in the middle of the Miskatonic?
The familiar of the witch, because it was a jagged blade, and that's like a claw. I think it's your pet. I think it's the same one who killed Gilman.
Christine.
Dylan.
Catherine. It'd be Catherine that did, not Christine. It's Catherine, the
I bet
one that holds
I bet
Keziah.
it's the cloaked man, but we just don't know who that is.
No, we did. He said the Dark Man.
But we don't know who the dark.
No,
man
it's
is.
like the title. Like he's an avatar.
Like Cinder Man? Is what...
He's an avatar of.
Do you think it's the
We'll
dark
see.
man, or do you think it's the rat?
I think it's the Dark Man.
Alright, sure. Go back.
All right. 12. What is
rat
the...
with this tiny weird like.
It's a giant rat, okay?
We'll-
This is a dire rat here. Clearly some multiple hit dice. It's like got a lot of stuff.
What is the name of the owner of the advertiser who also lost her child? What happened to the mother?
What?
No.
We never went down that.
I have
No, we
idea
didn't, but
what
it was.
this is
Yeah,
about.
no, we didn't even. We
The
could've gone to
advertiser,
first. Like, that was mentioned.
Which the advertiser is
Yeah,
Probably
this
one of the
one.
last-
in the book. No, it's in here that I read,
One of
and
those
we're
people
like,
you should go to.
like the cab. How we didn't go to the cab.
Yeah.
That's always what happens to us.
We could have gone to the newspaper person. Wow.
Why would we do
That's the thing. Is like, why would we go there and waste time? I don't know.
that? Yeah, next question.
It's giving you reasons to go these places. Where's the advertiser? One of these people is the advertiser.
It's not
Yeah.
even mentioned in the paper.
That was the last question. There's 12 questions. All right. Who abducted Christine Baxter on May Eve?
Because I was.
Her sister Catherine, possessed by Keziah Mason.
There we go.
There we go. We got it.
5 points. 2. For what purpose was she and all the children abducted? For sacrifice and or possession of spirits.
What is that?
3 points.
That's
What did the principal of Christine's school show you? A drawing she made of her holding hands of a witch.
You said
we do
didn't.
not know that.
We knew that, but we did not.
We
know
do.
that. Out of character.
Besides.
4. What family secret from 8 years ago are Laura blah 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 that they had twins?
Yeah, the twins.
That's
What is
2 points.
You're screwed.
Why did Christine's mother go catatonic? She came into contact with Catherine, the
Yeah.
twin
And then she got rid of
of Christine. 3 points.
How's just tell the difference?
Well, one of
She's
them's
like fucking
deformed, one of them's
deformed.
not.
But I thought we were chasing the deformed one once because they were like the second time in that elevator thing.
What
That
are the
was-
names of the 2 other children?
Are they the
Mine and
people?
Jess.
Adelaide and the other one you said.
Yeah. What are the names?
What did you say?
Jax.
What are the names?
Ladalas, Woljok,
Yep. You're
and
we're right.
Adeline Klein.
Yep.
2 points for each.
Yep. We're good.
4 points.
4 points.
Hey.
This is a whole like asterisk episode, right?
They're on the newspaper. Okay.
7. What's your favorite book? Wonderful Oz is 4 points.
Don't go to the liberal arts building.
That was like one of the best ones.
There were a lot of good ones.
Science.
Science was-
No.
No science.
We knew that. Like at least they told us he left the town, so we didn't
All right.
chase after him.
8.
Yeah.
What happened to Walter Gilman? He was killed by a giant rat.
Yep.
1 point.
Okay.
9.
Well,
What
it
is the
wasn't a
name of the
newspaper.
people? Frank Elwood
Mhm.
and Paul Choice.
Yep. Those were things we knew.
2 points if you know both.
Okay.
Just 2, not 4. Where do the children sacrifices? By the ravine at the White Stone.
What is that?
2. Who killed old man on the thing?
Darkman.
Nope. So we got that wrong.
Giant rat.
Nope.
Damn it.
Catherine Baxter.
What?
There was only 1 point.
Oh, possessed Catherine Baxter. So yeah.
It did have in parentheses Kaiser Nixon. What is the name of the owner of the advertiser who lost her child? What happened? Melinda Susan, or Mrs. Susan, she died inside the sanitarium. And that was 3 points.
We're fucked.
All right, deduct 1 point for each of these you read. Pursuit 4, so that's -1. Pursuit 5, Pursuit 6B. If you read Pursuit 6A, deduct 1 point for each item you use. If you read all pursuits and used both items, deduct 5 points. So we only used 1 point.
But they're supposed to be useful.
Well, you said the hint was. Sure.
If you read 6B and replaced blah, 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 blah. Even if you did escape reading, no. Alright. Alright, so our total is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
Why did we
18,
need the
20, 21,
grocery
22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
That's
So 25.
Minus.
Alright.
it.
For
This is
every
26
location
minus
you
1.
visited beyond 10, deduct 1 point, so that's minus
Minus
7, so that's 18.
What?
Well, wait, did you count the double locations?
That is minus 5, so that is 20. This time including his home. Armitage traveled to 10 locations, this time including his home address where he would have given you 2 more days to finish your investigation. Final score.
21 plus.
Yes.
Pass.
16 plus points. You win. On the following page, you may view the location Armitage visited to solve the investigation.
Go us.
We won!
We actually did win.
On 7. On Mystery 7.
That was not as convoluted. It seemed.
Yeah.
Solution.
We could have totally stopped.
No, because I got.
Oh, we went
no,
the Wizard of
The
Oz.
Wizard of Oz was like 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, there's 4 points.
And then we found out it was a favorite book. Right?
Not only that, the Unvisited Isle has been justified as its position. for
Like we've
always
gone to at
going
least
to it.
5 times. We've gone there.
We have, and it's been great every time.
No.
We didn't get a point.
It's been useless.
It's been great.
We guessed
This
wrong,
episode.
but it's been a great
It's been a great
asset
experience.
to our game.
All right,
Yes.
solution. Hearts will never be practical until they can be made unbreakable, quotes Armitage. That is from poor Christine's favorite book. As you can guess, I confronted Baxter with my findings and he admitted they had twins. Catherine did not die, but was abducted by Kaiser, or someone on her behalf. Instead of sacrificing the girl, Kaiser Mason inhabited the girl. Catherine was born malformed and would have died were she not sustained and dominated by Kaiser, who was an ancestor of Laura Baxter. No, maybe, formerly Laura Mason, so maybe it's a twin. It was Catherine that you and others saw around Arkham, not Christine. The abducted children were likely taken and sacrificed at the White Stone at Meadow Hill. The idea is so reprehensible, I think no one was willing to entertain it, not even myself, and so it went on for years. Yes, it is there. Kaiser possessed poor Catherine and influenced the witch cults in Arkham to take children and devote them to Azathoth and Naralato. Mason vanished some time ago, but as you've learned, that is not dead, which can eternal lie. You finished the line of the Necronomicon, and with strange eons, even death may die. Armitage nods approvingly. Oh. Yeah. Anyways, Kaiser was at least partially responsible for the death of Walter Gilman, who had the misfortune of renting a room in her old house. He was most likely meddled with forces he couldn't comprehend. He passed over into the spirit world where Kaiser resides. That was a mistake. People are too curious about things that should be left alone. Armitage sighs deeply. When I spoke with John, he maintained that Catherine had died. But he and Laura had begun to suspect each other. Suspect otherwise. Laura was having visions, probably similar to the ones experienced by Walter Gilman. When I asked him why he didn't ask for my assistance, he in fact stole a copy of my annotated guide to Necronomicon, and some half-baked scheme had no satisfactory answer. We have achieved a small victory, though. Kaiser's influence should disappear now that Catherine has been taken in. Kaiser left her vessel, knowing we would lock Catherine in a sanitarium. As soon as she left, we placed a protective pendant upon the girl. Foster care should allow her to lead a better life. A nurse enters your room with a wheelchair. Ah!
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm like confused.
Yeah.
So
They captured her and they put a pendant on her so the witch can't inhabit her body.
right, but I thought she was so malformed she'd die without the witch's presence.
Yeah. That's why I think the wheelchair should maybe on that. Wheelchair just got open.
The nurse enters your room with a wheelchair. Ah, here we go. You're ready to leave the sanitarium, or would you like to stay a little longer? Armitage smiles.
Maybe more.
Path of Armitage.
What?
Is that what it is?
What?
Yeah. Professor Armitage solved this case by investigating 10 locations. However, if you went to his house, Armitage would have realized that he gave you too little time and would have given you 2 days. Do not count Armitage home. You 8. No, so we actually got 21.
Gosh. Did we win or win with success?
We won.
Yeah.
We crazy won.
So we won with success.
We got 5 more points than
No,
needed.
but don't they usually say like if you get this many points, it's like a special one?
It's just 16 plus or fewer than
So
16.
there wasn't a special one.
Fewer than 16 points. Armitage believes you just had a bad week. But 16 points, yeah. There's only 2 options.
Every week is a bad week.
Professor Armitage saw this case, blah, blah, blah. However, you went to his house. Armitage would not have realized that he gave you too little time. You extend your time. Do not count Armitage home and your final location. He pursued the girl 3 times. He went to free location, do not count. He went to his own house. Then he went to the Baxter household, which was F27.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to the police office at Garrison. And then he went to the hospital at C11.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to Corbett's house at D45. Then he went
That's the
Herbert?
doctor.
Nah, doctor. He always goes to the doctor and the police do.
He went to, well, I mean, the police is probably, they're there and they have information about the crime scene. I feel like they have
You
information.
should probably start.
Yeah, we usually go to the police.
Then he went to Amelia Sargent, C23.
What?
The Sinclair Public School at F19.
What?
W. Hathaway Home at D59.
Mm-hmm.
The Witch House, F11. Meadow Hill at 38. And then the Sanitarium with requirement 5.
Yeah, I want to see this ending in
That's it. I wanted to see what he was about.
What's the what?
Where the class was.
That was like supplement 6. That's where you use it.
I thought it was 9.
There's only. Oh, I mean like the
Supplement
pursuit
6.
6.
Oh, I see.
So like if you get to pursuit 6, it's kind of like, oh, if you have this, go here or do this. So it gave you 2 different branching paths.
So Christine's dead.
That's what it sounds like, but the malformed one lives.
So you needed a rosary and a cross.
Well, it's depending on the option.
Yeah, it was and/or.
So, but
Where'd you get the rosary?
Another church.
I don't know.
Why does that church have a white rock in it that's like the rock from the ravine is my question.
Because
Especially
that's where
that-
they quoted it.
Because it's
that
Arkham?
weird-
They just quoted it
But
there.
it wasn't even a cross, remember? It was just a weird, strange stone that we thought was foreboding. It said it's okay to have deals with the devil.
Yeah,
Like, that's a
because it was
very...
for- it was
Like,
for
First
her-
Baptist clearly has some bullshit going on right now.
Everybody kind of received that.
Yes, I have. Believe me. I know Baptists. I can totally see it. I'm just pointing out future reference or past reference. Baptists be crazy. Provisional.
Yeah, this requirement. This requirement. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, we did great.
I'm just curious
Yeah,
when
we actually
Catherine
really
came to
did.
Sanitarium.
I'm very proud of us. We were getting better, right? At the end.
Sure, that's totally a thing.
So I think this one was
Well, remember we did cheat.
we did cheat a little bit.
By accident. It wasn't like we were purposefully cheating.
Or was it?
Or did you try to get us to purposefully cheat?
I did. But did you?
I probably would have read it anyways.
apparently it was this other church, Stanislaus Church.
How would you know to go there though? It's like,
I feel like there's some like ethnic stuff, like basically like you figure out the last names, like, oh well this guy's Polish, so you go to a Polish.
I think it's more so if you. I think they have like a lot of red herrings that probably direct you to the path. If you're just like going off some, well, not red herrings. I guess it's just like a lot of ways to get to the path, but might not be the most efficient route. And we've been going efficiently.
yeah, relatively.
Apparently, the other errata was kind of pointless. I was just, why does it keep on that? It was saying it was about to clarify the answer for question 4. Yes, to clarify, John Lord did not have twins of themselves. They gave birth to twins. I didn't realize you needed errata for that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Well,
Some-
that was something we were like.
I expected that, but I dropped that. Kind of
Some,
like
some
halfway
people on
through.
Board Game Geek are kind of weird. Because that's where the red is from. It's like he likes chocolate chip ice cream. Is it vanilla chocolate chip ice cream? Red for that. No. We did it.
Yeah.
We survived. We finally did it in good time. It's been a while since we had a good showing. You'll need the yellow, please. It's in the D.
What
Vanished girl.
what do you want to try to
what's
do
the
the
last
last
one?
one?
There's still 2 more.
Oh, there's 2.
Yes, I said there's 8 and then there's a bonus.
But the
Oh, I
bonus
thought
is
the
long.
bonus was part of it.
No.
Is the bonus in here or is it?
Oh wow, this is dramatic. The Squirrels wagered. This
Ah.
is
No, the bonus is not in there. The bonus is
this
its
is
own.
what the art looks
We're
like.
definitely going to be talking to him, right?
Dun, dun.
Oh, it's off.
Clearly, a demon summoning is about to
Or
happen.
disappears and they can find Pascal.
It's a wager with them.
We make a bet that we can find him and then he disappears.